Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of 2 college athletes. He has a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Welcome to episode 407 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. This episode is part 1 of a 2-part interview with Scott McCowan. Scott is a former college basketball and football player at the NAIA level and former college basketball coach. And the most important now is the father of a current NCAA Division I basketball player. Raegan, Scott's daughter, just finished her freshman year as a Lady Leatherneck at Western Illinois University. Raegan, a 5'11 guard-forward combo, was a 3-time All-District, 3-time All-Conference, and 3-time All-Academic player for Lebanon High School in Lebanon, Missouri. She also nabbed All-State Honors and Conference Player of the Year in her high school career. She may have proven that she was under-recruited out of high school, but she fit very well at the mid-major Western Illinois and got to compete in the Ohio Valley Conference. When I say fit well, I mean she played in 30 games, starting 28 as a freshman. She averaged 19.4 points per game and 8.1 rebounds. She had a season-high 45-point game and 2 30-point games during her freshman college season. She was named the Freshman of the Week and the Player of the Week in the OVC multiple times and was named to the OVC Newcomer All-Conference Team and First Team Ohio Valley Conference. With all that information about Scott and Raegan, we will cover Scott and Raegan's sports history, Raegan's recruitment, and how she used high school, her club team, and coaches and her family to make a decision to go to Western Illinois University. Let's get a look into a family's journey to college basketball. Well, Scott, thank you for your time today, and welcome to the Athletic Scholarship Podcast.
Hey, absolutely. Thanks, Brent.
Can you tell us a little bit about your sports background, like your playing and your coaching careers?
You know, I'm originally a Buffalo kid, born and raised there really all my life. We actually played ball against each other back in the day, Brent.
Yes, we did. I think we beat you guys and you beat us once.
I'll take that one. You know, I played there all the way through, played football, basketball, baseball, track, everything at Buffalo. I finished up. I went on to play college football and basketball both at Central Methodist NAIA school. Loved it. Went ahead and transferred and finished up at Missouri State, and then started coaching. Always wanted to coach. I got on with Gary Stanfield his first year at Drury and was a volunteer assistant that first year while I was finishing up my last year of school and the first year of my master's. Then went on was a graduate assistant at Drury, finished that up. Then I got my first job at Moberly Junior College. Just had to do that for 1 year. And then went from there to Southeast Missouri State and coached there for a few years and then got out of coaching.
Was Drury still NAIA or were they Division II at the time?
My first year, we were finished up in NAIA and we just made the move to Division II my last year that I was a graduate assistant there.
And they're still Division II. And then Moberly, got a connection with Moberly. Coach Spoonhour that I worked for in college was the coach,
absolutely,
big-time coach at Moberly.
Yeah, he had some great advice when I went up there. It's funny, some of the stories he would tell.
It's amazing how you get great experiences both playing and coaching. And that's one of the things that I try to talk to kids and families about. Playing college sports is really fun, but it's the people that you meet and the stories and the memories that you have and the background that helps you for the next 40 years. I always say it's
absolutely
4 years that set up the next 40.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I still have friends that are in the business, and I still have friends that, you know, are in and out or went a different direction. And just the stories are just so much fun.
Well, tell us what you're doing now, and then tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, I'm in the insurance business in Lebanon. I've done that for the last 25 years with Missouri Farm Bureau. And, you know, I've married a Lebanon girl, raised all my kids to be Lebanon Yellow Jackets, but it's been good.
Tell us about how many kids you have.
Yeah, we have 6 kids. All of them are out of the house at this point, except for one, that is Moses. And he is a sophomore. He is the end of the road for us. He's the caboose.
Is he in athletics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he plays basketball. He runs track.
Kind of the main subject that we're going to talk about today is your daughter, and her name is Raegan. So tell us a little bit about Raegan's background in high school and club play, and,
sure.
And kind of where she is now.
Yeah, Raegan is now playing at Western Illinois University up in McCowan, Illinois. She played basketball. She played softball. She ran track. She played flag football, all kinds of stuff, just about whatever she could do whenever she was young and in elementary school, and went through junior high and high school, played down here, had a really successful career. She was the all-time leading scorer and rebounder. Bunch of other little deals down here at the high school. Had a really good career, and then just went on and played for Missouri Phenom for her club ball, which really was good, and that got her quite a bit of exposure out there with some different coaches. Because I mean, things have changed, as you know, Brent, from back when we played. You know, a lot of the recruiting takes place in the summers now. And so that's really what she did. And then she had a number of different schools that recruited her, and she went on and chose Western Illinois.
And what were some of the schools that she was looking at or were interested in her?
Yeah, you know, really, she had a number. She had about all of the Division II schools kind of in this area. Is probably the easiest way to say that. And then the Division I school she had was Evansville, Lindenwood, and Western Illinois, and Bradley. Those were really the four that had offered her. We really kind of thought she was under recruited, Brent, to be honest with you. But, you know, you just dance with the girl that you came with. And out of that, we just went through all that process trying to decide. You know, we wasn't necessarily just trying to go to the largest school we could go to. You know, we were considering some Division II schools as well. You know, Drury and Pitt State were two that I think really kind of came pretty hard at her that she considered as well. And she was just trying to find the best fit with the best coaches and the girls and stuff. But she ended up settling on going up to Western Illinois.
It looks like she had a very good year at Western Illinois, and I hit some of the accolades that she had in the introduction. You tell us about her freshman year at Western in both basketball and just the college experience.
Yeah, well, it's really a scary deal. You've grown up in Lebanon's still really a small town, and so just picking up and leaving everybody and going up there was really kind of nerve-wracking. But she went up there. You know, and I always said, if you can get them to the first semester, you're okay. And we didn't have a whole lot of homesickness because she had made good friends, and I think she enjoyed her coaches and was having some success once the season started and stuff. So it was good, but it definitely was a change, just figuring out how to do stuff on your own, and mom and dad couldn't do stuff for you, and it was a whole new thing.
Was it dorm life as a freshman at Western?
Yes, absolutely. Got her. She was in the dorm, and she lucked out. She was able to get a room by herself, which I think was really probably pretty good, where you could go visit your friends in the other rooms, but you could go back and kind of be by yourself too. But
was that before or after she scored 45?
That was before.
Kind of what was the recruiting process? That, you know, how did it start? When did it start? And just kind of walk us through how she ended up committing to go to Western.
I remember her first little handwritten note she got was from SBU, from Kelsey Kaiser, which always had a special place in my heart for her, just because she kind of recognized first at a little workout deal. I remember Raegan had that pinned up on her bedroom wall, and you know, Reg was always good to have goals on what she was going to do. And I remember she had a list of what she wanted to accomplish once she got to high school. As she went through this process, and really when she kind of got hooked up with the AAU circuit and started doing some of that stuff, that's when coaches started, you know, sending letters and stuff like that. They couldn't talk to her or anything yet. She couldn't take phone calls until, I forget, maybe going into her sophomore year, junior year. All of it kind of runs together now.
Yeah.
She couldn't do any of that stuff, but you know, they're funny. They would walk by you and kind of give you the wink and nod and all that stuff. And they could call your coaches and kind of your AU coaches, and they would say that they were keeping an eye on you and this, that, and the other. So that's really kind of when it started, you know, started taking phone calls, and then was able kind of to take some unofficial visits to start off with, and kind of got some offers. Once there were some offers out there, then it really picks up from there. One leads to another, and depends on which school, which conference, and all that stuff.
What was kind of the mix between what Raegan did, what you did, what high school coaches did, and what Phenom did to kind of help go through the process?
You know, Brent, it really is so different now than when we played, obviously, you know, and then when we coached, it was different. And now it's even more different. You know, used to be back when we played, some of the Christmas tournaments or different things like that. Coaches, college coaches would come and watch you then, and that really was kind of your first exposure. It was pre a lot of the AAU stuff. They really recruited more high school, and I think maybe coaches still will recruit some in high school, but a lot of it just seems to be where it happens a lot in the summers. That's really when they're getting after, and they can compare. They can go to one court and see hundreds of players and have a list of 20 kids that they're specifically looking for that are at a certain position, and in one day really kind of get a comparison of how this one ranks as far as the other ones. Visit with their colleagues, all that stuff. And so it really seems like it has went the AAU route, the club ball route, more so than before in basketball anyway.
And I always say high school is still important because you play good competition. It's you discipline, you get to play in front of fans, your classmates and parents and local people. But the college coaches are in season during the high school season. So they can't come on a Tuesday a lot of times and watch him play. So it's kind of a tough thing because people think, well, the high school doesn't matter. Well, it does.
Yeah.
But they actually get to see the players more in the summer because of the time off.
Yeah, I think you get a chance in the high school season. Coaches can see really how you adapt to what you're given, because you can't put an all-star squad together for high school. It really it's the hand that you're dealt, and so you have to adapt. You may have to play different roles that you may not have to play when you're in the AAU season. You may have to bring the ball up, or you may have to go down and post up some, or just all these different things that you have to kind of be a chameleon on your high school team, where you won't have to necessarily do that on your AAU team. So they see different things, I think.
So kind of going back with Raegan, her freshman, sophomore year, was that kind of the years that she was getting some winks and nods and maybe she was getting some attention, but they just can't officially talk to them. So she was getting attention kind of early, and girls get attention a little bit earlier than boys a lot of times too, don't they?
They do. Girls, a lot of time, they say what you see is what you're going to get a lot of time. As the freshman and sophomore years for a girl, you can see what you have already, where boys a lot of times will mature later, and they may grow 4, 5, 6 inches sometimes between their freshman year and senior year. They may develop and get their man weight, different things like that. So it really is different. And girls a lot of times will mature earlier. And what you see is what you're a lot of times going to get.
And you mentioned that as they got where they could contact her, they would go through their list. Where do you think they got their lists?
That is a good question. I think there's a lot of different ways. I mean, you've got different services out there, Prep Hoops will a lot of times rank kids. And we've looked at that stuff, all the way through. And it is kind of a hodgepodge of where you land on that stuff. A lot of times the AAU coaches really are driving that on who they want to be in the top 10 or the top 20 or 30 or whatever. If you're on that list, if you are rated on that list, it does at least put you on the radar, so to speak.
Did you guys reach out to colleges to say, hey, come and watch me play, or was her play kind of well-known enough where they kind of came and watched her kind of on their own reputation?
We wanted to reach out. We just didn't. That's where some of those services out there that really have an understanding of really how this stuff works really can be such a huge help.
Well, that was the first half of the interview with Scott McCowan. You got introduced to Scott and his family, and Raegan, his college basketball playing daughter. You got a peek into Raegan's playing career and into her early recruitment. Scott talks about some of the differences between a girl's recruitment and a boy's recruitment, when her recruitment started, and how it started. Next week's episode 407, will be part 2 of this interview. Listen in as Scott covers their setting of parameters, Raegan's decision to go to Western Illinois University, some recruiting advice for you, and then you will get a look into how Raegan navigated the transfer portal after just her first year of college basketball. Page 26 of the Recruit Me 3.0 manual covers the key points to select the right schools to contact. Key point number 1, there are basic questions that the student athlete and parents should ask themselves before looking at schools, because this will help you to focus on schools that are the best fit for you. Key point number 2, you should contact 40 to 50 schools for the best long-term results, and certainly no less than 20. Key point number 3, you can search out school and coach details using the internet, or you can use College Coaches Online. Go to collegecoachesonline.com and test them out. Things to discuss. As a student athlete, which schools are at the top of your list right now? As a parent, which schools would you like your son or daughter to consider? And what things are most important as you look for a school? Join me next week for episode 407 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, part 2 of an interview with Scott McCowan. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.